Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Dena.
Hi. So nice to see you today. You're looking lovely.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. So today's a kind of a little bit of a heavy topic. It doesn't always have to be, but my Aunt Ro, who is a family friend forever, but I call her my aunt. I've known her since I was 3. Fortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer, and I just thought it would be great to have her on and talk about how she's navigating it. She has a really positive attitude, and she is getting great responses from chemo, and she seems to be thriving, and the doctors are baffled. So I thought it would be really neat to have her. Yes, I thought it would be really neat to have her in and just sort of talk about what that's like and navigating through that, and
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to meet her. She sounds amazing.
You're going to love her. She's amazing. And she's like my most favorite person in the whole wide world. And I've never had an aunt, so she's the only auntie I've really ever had. And I'm a little obsessed with her. You can let her in. Good morning, beautiful.
I don't have the background thing. I don't have the filter thing. So this is what you get.
What? Girl ain't got no filter. That's just cute.
Yeah.
Hi, Auntie. So, thank you for coming on. Yes.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I've heard so much about you. Dena just raves about you, so it's really nice.
Oh, did she tell you the story?
She's told me some stories.
Yeah, about when she was 4 and my first time in California. And here I'm 17 years old in a white string bikini. And we're walking down the beach. Never been in California before. Me and her are holding hands. And somebody wolf whistles. And at 4 years old, she looks up and she goes, Aunt Ro, they're whistling at me.
Oh, that sounds just like her.
Right? That's our Dena.
Nothing's ever changed.
Yeah.
And I've still been looking for those ruffly pink bathing suit bottoms as an adult that I was wearing.
Yeah.
And you were in a white bikini.
I remember that.
And your hair was in a ponytail. I kind of just wanted to get into it because it's not an easy subject to talk about. But could you tell us about your recent diagnosis and how were you having any symptoms and how you got diagnosed?
I had a chest x-ray in 2017 and they found a small spot on my lung and they said, we'll keep an eye on it. And years went by, and here's the thing. You've got to be proactive when it comes to your health, because I was visiting with my general doctor, and she was training a young guy, and he said, you're a smoker, and you had a spot in 2017. You need to ask for them. And I asked the doctor. She didn't bring it up. I did. And she said, oh, okay. And the spot had gotten bigger. So
and how long after 2017 did you go get it checked again?
This was probably a year ago.
So you waited 4 years in between?
No, I was getting chest x-rays every single year, but anyway, I had one done and the spot was bigger, and it started this whole train of that let's test it. It was too small to do a biopsy. And I can't stress enough that you have got to be on top
proactive. Yes.
And instinct is so important when you're dealing with doctors. And insurance companies too. The first doctor that I went to, there was, they sent me to the only oncologist that they had in my insurance plan. And I walked into this guy's office. There was no art on the walls. The door was open. There was a group of people all getting chemotherapy. And I looked at Don and I said, I don't like this guy. I said, it looks like they're ready to pack up and hit the road. They did a brain MRI, discovered that the cancer was in my brain. So supposedly 4 lesions are treatable. I had 14.
Wow.
And this particular doctor had the phone in his hand and he said, we need to start radiation on your brain right away. And I'm thinking, he was a nice guy, but I said to myself, I'm not going to have you treat me.
So scary.
I ended up with an oncologist. You've got to investigate who's the best person in your area. don't let insurance payments stop you from seeing the best person that you can see. She said to me, do you know what radiation to your brain does? It kills healthy brain cells as well as cancerous cells, and it brings on early Alzheimer's. That's like a last resort. So anyway, I didn't get the radiation in my brain. She said, I'm going to treat you with chemo. And before that happened, when I knew I had the cancer in my lymph nodes, in my lung, then it was in my brain, I thought, I'm not, if they give me with chemo a 3-month window, I have to make a decision if I want to even go that route.
What stage were you diagnosed with?
4.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's tough.
It was stage 4. Once it's somewhere and then it goes somewhere else and then it goes somewhere else, that was stage 4 cancer. A doctor called me and said, oh, you have stage 4 cancer. And I was like, oh, okay. And I hung up the phone and went, wow, that sucks. So the doctor didn't want to radiate.
What were you feeling at that point? I mean,
Nothing.
As far as, you felt perfectly healthy? Did you just go in for a checkup? Like, were you coughing? What was going on that made you get an X-ray?
I felt fine. I wasn't coughing. I never had a headache. I'm like this walking miracle. The doctor said, you have 3 months, but definitely less than a year to live. Because I said to him, okay, you want to do chemotherapy on me? And I'm thinking, I don't want to do it. And I thought 3 months to a year, that's pretty sobering.
Very sobering. How do you even process that?
Well, you sit there and you go, not everybody gets to know when they're going to die. So if I have 3 months to a year to live, how am I going to spend that 3 months to a year? What am I going to do? I'm going to travel. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do chemo. But when I finally ended up with the woman oncologist that I had known before from when I had breast cancer, oh, the stories I could tell. She said, we've got to do chemo and I'm going to treat it with a machine gun. She said, some people go, soft and easy. She said, I'm going to blast you with chemotherapy because first thing we need to do is address the brain cancer. And without hesitation, because I had a trust in her and I had a feeling about her, I said, okay, bring it on. I was very, very fortunate in that I never got sick with chemo. I didn't throw up.
Oh, you didn't?
It's amazing.
Nothing. And now I had, Dena knows, hair and bangs. And I mean, I had awesome hair. I still have awesome hair.
Yes, you did.
I saw a photo. I kind of like the short hair on you.
Well, everybody says that. And
I
it's
know.
really nice to feel the wind on the back of my neck, which I've never felt before, not in years. But so I said, okay, chemo, let's just do it. And that's what I did. I did the chemo. And then August, this past month, I had a really bad time. I ended up in the hospital. Something mixed wrong. I was on, after the chemo sessions, I was on immunotherapy to boost my immune system. And the doctor said, I want to give you another infusion so that it will address the side effects from the immunotherapy. And I said, I don't have side effects from the immunotherapy. And she said, you will. You'll get them. The arthritis in your back is going to get even worse. Let me do this other infusion. And I said, okay. Well, I got pain in my leg that somebody had a sledgehammer, was banging on the bones. So I thought, oh, I have COVID. Maybe it's COVID. I haven't had COVID. I'm boosted. All this stuff. So this is what COVID must feel like. But I mean, I didn't sleep for a week. The pain was so bad.
And in those periods, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but in those periods, like emotionally, mentally, like, how are you feeling about, did you feel like you wanted to thrive and you wanted to live? Or do you feel like that your positive attitude and everything, you're just living day by day? Like, how does that mess with your mind, especially for you and your husband?
I never got depressed. I just...
Really?
I never got depressed. It was like, okay, this is what's been... Now, you have to understand that my history, you see this smile? When I was 20 years old, I was married for 3 months, and I went in for ear surgery. I wear hearing aids in both ears, so I've had problems my whole life. I think it's because I'm so used to dealing with this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But the doctor cut my facial nerve.
Ooh.
So I went in this cute 20-year-old and was cute husband, and woke up and the whole side of my face was messed up. That surgery, I was living in Milwaukee by my, didn't know anybody there. That one destroyed me. I thought, oh my God, this is for the rest of my life. And the man I was married to, granted, he was 22 years old, and I don't blame him. I didn't blame him then. But I can't deal with this. I can't. So I helped him find an apartment and helped him pack his stuff. And it was all well and good. It's like, if you can't deal with it, then I'll deal with it on my own. So that was like the first time. And then there was the breast cancer. And then there was the stomach exploding from stress at work, where I had to wear a colostomy bag for 3 months. And I'm like, oh God, what next? He can't kill me. He keeps knocking me down. And like one of those clown things that you have when you're a kid that you punch and it pops back up, that's me. So by the time the cancer diagnosis came around, I was pretty much experienced with now what?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's like numbness? Yeah.
I didn't get depressed. It just kind of, this is what it is, then this is what it is. This is what I have to deal with.
Yeah. It's
and
like,
what am I going to do?
Here we go.
What am I going to do with that 3 months to a year?
Right.
How am I going to spend it? Am I going to spend it underneath the couch and just depressed? Or am I going to say, I've got a time limit. I get to choose how I'm going to spend that time. And I choose to live the best that I can and to stay positive and to stay happy. Yes, I'm dying from lung cancer, but nothing I can do about it. Find the best doctors, see what they say, and go on from there.
Well, it seems like you're doing a lot, because if we can tell people what happened after chemo when they rescanned your head.
And so while I was in the hospital last month trying to figure out where the pain was coming from, they had to drug me so much that I could get in the tube and to get another brain MRI, and all 14 lesions gone.
Wow.
They're gone. I
How
have
about
no cancer in my brain right now. And the doctor said to miracle.
Yeah.
The doctor said to me, could come back. We're going to do another brain scan in October. It could come back. And the spot in my lung, which by now had grown to 7 centimeters, was 1 centimeter.
Wow.
One. It shrunk down to 1.
That's amazing.
And I said to my oncologist, never got sick. Oh, and she had said, you're not going to lose all your hair. It'll thin out. Well, from beyond shoulder length doing this, and I would put it in a plastic bag. I mean, my hair was like my pride and joy. I'm so happy it's short. And, this is like mostly my natural color. And I don't have to color it every 3 weeks. And then blow dry it and shampoo and condition and flat iron. And are my bangs turning into Farrah Fawcett bangs? And, and again, it's something that, oh my God, I'm losing my hair and I love my hair. And then you say to yourself, am I going to go under the bed and stay under the covers because I'm literally going bald? Or am I going to say, my hair's falling out. It's hair.
Yeah.
It'll grow back or it won't go back. I look good in hats. That's just the way it is. You just deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't think everybody can do that.
No.
But make a choice.
That is a gift. Yeah.
You choose. You choose how you deal with tragedy in your life.
That is like the theme we do, is like we choose happiness. We choose, if you are strong enough and hopefully you've had enough experience and tools in your life that mentally you're able. So did you quit your job? Did you stop living? How did that affect your husband?
No. I'm a volunteer at a thrift store that benefits Desert AIDS Project here in Palm Springs.
Amazing.
And I didn't miss a day of work. I volunteer like 3 days a week. And I love that place. I love to work. I love to meet people and never missed it. Even as the hair was falling out, I'm wearing baseball caps and stuff.
And do you find that you have to comfort other people when you tell them about your cancer? Instead of like other people comforting you? Do people get upset or go like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then you wind up going, it's okay, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, I think just the way that I'm dealing with it shows them that there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, this is what it is. So, no, I don't think I have to comfort them. They'll sit there and go, "Oh my God, you're so amazing. How, you know, how can you?" And it's like, listen, there's a part of me that thinks I was put here to show people that you don't have to get depressed about stuff. You know, the whole thing about choosing happiness is, and they're like, we never knew that somebody that's going through what you're going through could deal with it that way. And it's like, why not? Why not deal with it that way? Are you going to go out?
Example.
Yes, I am an example through everything that I've been through medically, that you just dust yourself off, take a look at the whole situation, and move on. Move on with the smile on your face.
Well, so and cool. I think most of us never were taught as children or adults or whatever that in my experience, for me with medical and all these things, everyone is always like, oh my God, that's so horrible. You're going through so much. Blah, blah. And then I used to feed into that. But now what I do with my medical stuff, because I've had 33 surgeries and I have 4 autoimmunes, is I don't really talk about it much, because then I find that I have to explain it to other people. Oh, it's not as bad as you think. And for me, I choose to get up every day and, like you, choose happiness. But I've never been faced with a diagnosis like you have, and so I used to think it's different. But now looking at you, you're showing me that in any opportunity, whatever we've been handed, you do have the opportunity to choose happiness.
Yes, you do. And you have to. Yeah. You don't have to. But what a crappy way to go out. You know what I mean? It's like, oh God, woe is me. Why? And then you curl up and you sit in the corner and you wait. Right. And you wait for it to happen. No.
You wait to die.
Yeah. Able. Yeah. Keep on going. Keep smiling. And you don't have to explain it to other people, because they look at you and they talk to you and they go, wow, this chick is 66 years old. This woman is dying, you know? Or, I mean, I would even say, should I buy that hat? And then I'd look at somebody and go, you know what? I'm dying of cancer anyway. Why not? I'm buying the hat. So you don't have to explain it. You show them. Yeah. You show them. And hopefully they walk away going, wow, that's incredible. And you can do it too, no matter what it is. You're getting a divorce, you know, your husband leaves you.
Did you find yourself, when you got the diagnosis, did you find yourself going, oh, here we go again, buckle up, now you gotta keep doing what you do? Or was there any moments that, how did it just, your brain just turn that way? Did you need to comfort your husband? Did you need to, how did he take the diagnosis?
I told him what I wanted to do was throw the biggest party. I wanted valet parking. We were going to hire live music. And I said, and when everybody comes in the door, they're going to get a Post-it. And they can put it on one thing in the house that they wanted. And they could take whatever it was that they liked in our house. And he looked at me and he said, we are not doing that, Rose. And I said, but I go, why not? You know, it's like, they've always liked that painting. Put a Post-it on it with your name. And when I'm gone, you can have that. And I said, I would do that. And he said, I know you would. And we're not doing that. I'm sorry.
But you were going to have an end of life party, right?
A celebration. Oh, yeah. No, a big one. I was going to fly people in and rent a mansion, the whole 9 yards. It's like whatever money I have, we're spending it on this bash.
While you're here, right? So you can enjoy it. Yes.
Right.
Amazing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so now, do you watch your diet? Do you do anything, or do you just keep living life the way you were living it?
That's what I'm doing. I'll tell you one thing that I regret, and that's ever starting smoking. Smoking is the worst thing. It's a disgusting habit. I'm still smoking. It's like, why not? I've already got the lung cancer. Might as well keep smoking. I like to smoke. But if I could change anything in my life, it would be that I never started smoking.
How old were you when you started?
Well, probably 13 or 14. So 50-something years.
Long time.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long time.
It is. Yeah. My father died at 57 from lung cancer. Oh, wow. And my grandparents died from lung cancer. And there was smoking, you know. So I knew at some point it was going to catch up to me.
Now, is the cancer, they're saying, because you said you've had breast cancer before, so are they saying that what's happening now is that it's breast cancer that's metastasized?
No, it didn't. No. Luckily, I found the lump. I was going for mammograms every year, like you're supposed to. Nothing ever showed up, but I found a very small lump, and I thought, that's not good. And they did a biopsy on it, and I was driving to get my hair done, and called and said, you have breast cancer. I was like, well, let me pull over for a second. Yeah. And so I pulled over the car, and I was like, well, that sucks. So that started the whole thing. I went through radiation.
What stage of breast cancer were you in? Were you diagnosed with? What stage?
It was, I don't even know. I don't remember the number.
Okay.
But it was small enough that they could do a lumpectomy. But again, radiation, and I never missed a day of work. I went to work every day.
Wow. So both times you went through those and you just never got super sick from it?
I was really tired with the radiation that kicked me butt. Yeah, no, not everybody's going to go through that. Last night we were searching for something to watch on TV, and we stumbled, and it's so odd that we're having this conversation today. We stumbled on something called Heal, H-E-A-L.
I've seen it on Netflix.
It's incredible.
So good.
We never, we didn't even know about it, and we're flipping by, and I said, let's see what that's about, and we watched it, and it was so fascinating. Some of the people I was like, yeah, you're bouncing this poor guy around in your lap, and
yes,
I'm not buying that. But the scientists and the science behind mental attitude changing the course of how your body reacts to stress and illness. It was such an interesting show.
So you're a walking testimony to that, aren't you?
Yes, it's fascinating how. People used to use natural things to, anyway, it's worth a watch if you're going through something and seeing these people. It's, just the science behind, and I didn't know any of this stuff when I was going through this, but
do you find yourself wanting to be more spiritual, or do you find yourself questioning anything?
No, I'm pretty much a spiritual person. I find myself when I get up in the morning, I have a feral cat that I feed who waits for me, and she lets me pet her. And I'll look at the sky and watch the sun come up, and I'll just say, thank you. Thank you for today.
That's so nice.
Thank you so much for today. And,
So you don't, what is that word? Catastrophize things, like in your head. You don't go through a thing of like, oh my God, what if, blah, 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 yeah, but like you don't allow yourself to go there. Do you like self-soothe and self-coach?
No. What if? What if, like, what a waste of time. What if this didn't happen to me? Well, what if I married a rich guy and I was living in a mansion? Would I be a bitch, or would I still be, who I am? What if is a waste? It's like, it isn't what if, it's like, what is?
Yeah. There you go. That's amazing. And do you feel like you live life now more with intention, or are you living life the same way?
I think I live life the same way. I think that over the course of my life, I somehow have an innate spirit that just says, you just keep marching on. And I don't know where it came from, because I didn't grow up in that kind of environment.
And you didn't study positive thinking. You didn't study that whole, what I'm into. And so this is just natural.
Yeah.
See, no wonder I love you so much. It's literally like we have so much in common when it comes to that stuff, because not everyone is gifted with this kind of disposition, and I think it's very fortunate. And I think a lot of people, because in my situation, a lot of people will go, well, some of us are not like you, Dena, and it's much harder, or blah 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 blah, and it's like, well, that kind of takes away from all the work I put into things. I mean, I've always been a pretty positive person, but there are days when I don't want to get out of bed, or I don't want to do stuff that I force myself, and I choose to be happy, and I choose to be among the living, right? And so I just think that sometimes I have to shift and make a choice, but for you, it just seems like natural.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, you knew my mom, so you knew the dramatics I grew up in. So the fact that I think the way I think is incredible.
You didn't learn it at home, and I don't know. I don't know
So
where.
same with you. You didn't learn it at home, it seems. And so somewhere along the line, like when you worked back in LA, you still, I mean, you've never been different to me. So sometimes, like when my dad told me about your cancer and your end of life party, it sounded way more dramatic the way he was saying it, because then when I talked to you, I was like, wait, what? Like, it doesn't sit. But then I was, I guess, expecting you to be sad, or I was expecting you to be like, oh shit. And then I was like, well, damn, it's amazing. Totally inspired, you know? And so it's kind of cool to witness. And so I just think it's so important for other people. It's like, yes, you are a unicorn, but also, like you were saying, is that it is a choice. And so then other people may say, well, I don't have the luxury of just volunteering. Like, I have kids, I have a job, I have this. And everyone will find an excuse if they want to. Right? And so it's like, what do you say to people that are like, why are you still working? Or are you still doing? Or what do you know what I mean?
I'm not everybody, and neither are they. And, you know, there are going to be people that having a supportive spouse is everything. I feel like I'm so grateful that he's there and he picks up the pieces and makes sure that I'm eating and cooks for me every night. And if I didn't have him, it would suck and it would be a lot harder. But again, if it was just me, I'd have to deal with it. You know, I'm grateful that I have him. But if I were in a situation where, you know, if I had kids, it would make me want to have this attitude just to take some of their fear away. If they see that mommy, you know, or if mommy can't get out of bed, you know, you just learn how to, you have to do the best you can. You know, I mean, it's not
with what
easy.
You have. Yeah.
I don't mean to sound flippant and to say, well, look at me, I'm just so fabulous. No, I mean, yes, everybody's going to deal with it a different way, but I just think that the power of positive thinking is incredible and it can change things, which that show last week really.
Which is really powerful. But have you ever thought? Yeah, well, have you ever thought about how is this impacting me and who do I want to be now? Meaning like you're coming on here and you're talking to us and you feel like maybe you've been through a lot, because you and I had a conversation last week about how clearly the universe and God want you to speak about it because you have been through so much. How is this impacting me and who do I want to be? Meaning, do I want to show people that they can go through this too? Do I want to get more out of life than I was getting? Do I want to make an impact, whether it's somebody who's going through depression, cancer, anything terminal? You know, I was just asking if that's shifted in a stronger way, makes you want to do it even more.
No.
Okay.
No.
You've just always been who you've been.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah.
That's pretty
like
cool.
People will say, wow, I really love your hair. And I'll go, well, it's chemo head. And they're like, oh my God. And it's like, you know, I like it. What do you think? You like the color?
Yeah.
You know,
you're just a living example, right? I mean, whether you choose to be or not, it just is, right?
You just I don't know, you just are. And
I've had a couple people in my family who've gone through some harrowing situations in the last year. I had a cousin that had to go through a whole lung transplant in his 50s because he had a different type of lung cancer. He doesn't smoke or anything. He's perfectly healthy, but he could have died going through that, but he did the same thing that you're doing, Aunt Ro, if I can call you Aunt Ro too. I'm adopting you as my Aunt Ro too.
Okay. There's a lot of me to go around.
Yeah, good. But he was so positive, and his entire family, like, they just would not hear anything but, he's coming through this, and then we're going to start this, and then we're going to make a plan to go do this together, and we're going to go bike riding, blah, blah, blah. It's like they just never saw it any other way other than, you know, the positive way to turn out, because same thing, you know, just why do you want to take yourself down that road? I think it makes a huge difference in your healing. And I'm glad you brought up that documentary, because I forgot about that too. And that documentary is just incredible.
It was like so amazing.
Yeah. We'll put the link to it in the show notes, because people will love it. I think it's a great reference.
Yeah. And I do think it's really powerful about the positive thinking and everything, because I think people sometimes will underestimate the power of it, of like, oh, you're so woke, or oh, you just can't be happy all the time, Dena. The real world happens, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, maybe for you. But for me, in my head, there's a whole different world, because all of us live inside of our head most of the time, right? So I've realized as I'm getting older, I don't have to think the way they've told me to think, or I don't have to believe what they told me to believe. And so what I'm learning is sometimes when I think in old ways, I'm like, you don't have to think like that. Like that was the old version, right? Or you don't need to be like that now. And so it's so refreshing to be like, wait, I don't gotta fill my head with all the yeah buts and the what ifs, like, and so it's powerful to see you, because it gives me hope, right? Because I deal with chronic pain, and then when people go, I don't know how you do it, I couldn't be you, and I'm like, listen, I do it the best I can, and my hope is just one day I will wake up and it will be gone, or with technology and things that they're gonna come out with something, but every day I have hope, because if I don't wake up with hope, then what's the purpose for me personally? And so it's not like I constantly think of the chronic pain. I just have learned to live with it, right? So I see how it works for me, and then you want that for everyone, right? And so I think it's just so cool to watch you navigate through this and do it in such a way that you're going to help so many people with your attitude.
Well, I hope that they can see somebody who literally last April was told you're going to die within a year, and to see where
April
I am
2021.
This year in April was when they told me that I had 3 months to less than a year to live if I didn't do this or that or the other thing. Amazing. And the only thing I said to Don was, okay, here's the deal. I want to die in your arms, and I don't want to be in pain. Just make sure they give me enough drugs so that my last thoughts aren't, I can't believe I'm in so much pain. Let's put a little sail on my head and push me down the river, and that'll be that. And so now it's like, you hear about people who just don't wake up in the morning. They go to bed angry and or depressed about the news and all this other stuff. When I read the news about all this horrific stuff and the world is going crazy, I honestly think God said, you guys are on your own. I can't anymore,
Seriously.
Shooting each other and drowning. Somebody in New York just drowned their 3 kids. And what I do is I go, that's just horrible. And I say a prayer for them and the people that knew them. I say, God, somebody loved that little boy and now he's not here anymore. But,
you can't take it with you all day.
Don't wake up in the morning, or they wake up and they're happy and they get hit by a car. And it's like, if you get hit by a car, I mean, you're not going to go with a smile on your face, but you just don't know when your chicken's going to get punched.
Right.
Totally. So,
yeah.
It's all about attitude.
Love that you mentioned the science of it too. Because
it's proven stuff.
Right. So you're talking about like the science and the study of epigenetics, which they get into in that documentary a little bit too. And people like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton have written books on this, and it's just incredible of like the power of positivity and the effect it has on your body. Like the way you talk to plants. Have you heard that conversation before about if you're good to your plants, they'll grow and they'll be healthy, but if you yell at your plant, have you seen that study? There's like a study where if you yell at your plant for 30 days it'll die.
Cameron did
Cameron
did the rice. Cameron did the rice, and with the rice for her daughter's Girl Scouts, and in one of the jars she would be like, I love you, you're amazing, you're beautiful, and the other one, I hate you, you're disgusting. This one turned black with mold within a week, and the other one stayed white.
Wow, how about that?
It's super powerful, the energy.
I believe that. I really do. I think it's so cool. And I love that you're like, just staying positive. I mean, shit, I think we should bring you back on in another year. to hear what you're doing.
I'm willing and the creek don't rise.
There you go.
So before we go, I just wanted to ask you, because we always do a subtle change and a profound impact. So when someone gets diagnosed or something with that, is there a subtle shift you make to go like, okay, or some little tidbit you could give about how you shift yourself if you feel like something coming on of like negativity with yourself and depression or something? Do you go, no?
It was very interesting to sit by myself and go, holy crap. Someone just told me that I have stage 4 cancer and it's everywhere and I'm going to die maybe in 3 months. Wow. How do I process that? What am I going to do? And it was me thinking, not everybody gets to know when you're going to go. So how am I going to spend that 3 months? Hopefully I won't be physically limited in what I can do. Mm-hmm. And how am I going to spend it? And then just turning the page and going, you know, you just make, and then it was like, okay, dust yourself off and let's call a travel agent and start making plans. And, you know, it's like I worked forever and I have money in the bank. And I said to my husband, okay, here's the thing. The money that's in the bank, we're going to spend. It's going to be gone because we have the house. You sell the house. You're going to make money on the house. You need to move to Virginia Beach because there's nothing for you here. You're going to move to Virginia Beach where your sister is. And he's like, what if I don't want to move to Virginia Beach? And I'm like,
this is hard.
No. This is what you're going to do. You're going to move to Virginia. Your family's on the East Coast. You know, you'll have enough money. Buy yourself a little condo on the beach and stuff and move on. But he's like, my wife is like, got my life planned and she's giving away all this shit in the house. So,
that's fucking genius.
Yeah,
like you're still controlling from down wherever you think you're going or up wherever you think you're, like you're still controlling and moving the pieces.
Yeah. Right.
It's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us, and thank you for being, you know, so Ashley, what's that word? You know what I'm talking about. So
gracious.
It's not upfront. Yeah, story. Gracious and also just
gracious.
So honest. Yes, forthcoming, because not a lot of people can do that, and I just think it's really powerful. So thank you.
They can do that. They can do that. Not a lot of people can do that. Yes, they can. They can do that, but they have to make the decision to do that. And I think it would change a lot of things if they say, this blows, my life is for shit, what am I going to do? But they can do that. Mm-hmm. and do that and force yourself to do that, because whatever time, like I said, I could go to sleep tonight and not wake up tomorrow, but I'm going to sleep happy and hopefully waking up happy, and you can do it. You can do it. And that heal program is, to find it last night was just so serendipitous that, oh my God,
that's so cool.
Them about cancer. Yeah. So that was,
could we check in with you in 6 months to see where you're at?
Yes.
We want to follow this up, especially that you've watched Heal.
I love this. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that has questions or, you know what, I'm available for whatever.
Thank you.
It's so sweet of you. Thank you, Aunt Rose.
You can lead by example. I mean, I have customers at the store who go, my God, your energy is like so incredible. And it's like, I didn't say anything, but have a good day. And they're like, no, you've got this energy. So just be who you are. And life is good. As long as you're here, make it better.
Yeah. Amen.
Oh, that's a great one.
So
Amen
cool.
to that one.
It was so nice to
meet
you.
Thank you. We love you.
Love you too. Ashley, my new niece.
That's right. Thank you, Aunt Rose.
Long live the queen.